The Fast Lane on 101 ESPN.
Let's get nasty for the final time in 2025. It's Tuesday. It is the Fast Lane right here on 101 ESPN alongside Bradford Bruns and Alex Ferrario, who is so kind to stay with us for a couple more segments. Alex, welcome to the Fast Lane.
Look, anytime the Fast Lane is available to me, I'm always happy to pounce on this. And I figured we were talking NFL look ahead, some college football. Cardinals are in the rumors. So it's like, hey, why not talk a little more?
Exhilarating Blues results?
No,
doubt.
Bradford, I said no Blues.
No.
Well, we're going to talk about Blues.
Son of a nutcracker. Let's do it.
We have to. So the Blues, they lose 4-2 last night to the Sabres. The Sabres, they went into last night's game, winners of 8 in a row. Alex, I thought that game was very winnable, though. You go down early, you respond with 2 goals. They end up tying up the game. You head into the third period. It's a 2-2 game. What happened last night?
To me, what happened is the microcosm of what the season has been for the Blues. You have a bad, I don't want to say a bad start, but it was just an uncharacteristic start from where they've been lately because they came out slow, they turned the puck over, and the puck goes in the back of the net. And it's like, oh, okay, this is going to be ugly. The response was awesome. By the end of that first period, Marshy, Blues were doing everything you'd ask them to do. Offensively, they were generating chances. They were hitting everything. They brought the physicality to Buffalo. They were really keeping Buffalo to the outside, and I'm thinking, all right, they grabbed the momentum. But again, the microcosm of the season has been one period looks great, and then the next period it's just completely different. It's Jekyll and Hyde. Second period, we had Steve on postgame last night. They were slow, didn't have their legs, couldn't generate anything offensively, and in their own end, it's like they just forgot how to play. So this team has just continued. They're consistently inconsistent, and it's not even that mentally they were broken. It's just the play was just non-existent from start to finish. And I mean, it's not even frustrating anymore. I don't know if you feel this way. To me, it's kind of expected.
Yeah, a little. I mean, I am frustrated because I want to believe in this team, and I see throughout the game, okay, maybe they're finding their game. Maybe they're getting back to the team that we saw last year. They respond with 2 goals. And, even going back to the previous game against Nashville, a team that beat you twice, you respond in the third game and you win that game. You lock down and come out with a victory. And I know that Buffalo won 8 in a row, but again, I didn't feel as if the Blues were
They weren't
outmatched.
a juggernaut.
Yeah, they weren't a juggernaut heading into the game. They've been playing well, but throughout the game, I thought that game was winnable. To me, it feels like maybe there's just some sort of chemistry that is off. I don't know if this is between the coaches and the players or what that could be. You mentioned you talked to Steve Ott in the post game. I was interested to hear what Monty had to say post game, and after listening to what he had to say, and then maybe listening to what Cam Fowler had to say, I have questions. So with that being said, here's Jim Montgomery, Blues head coach, breaking down last night's loss.
When it transitions to defense, our urgency to get back, or when we get a turnover, 5 guys looking to go, it just wasn't there. The puck wasn't moving fast. But what really comes down to is we got to have a better effort than that. We have to play with more purpose and pride. And the physicality just isn't good enough right now.
Does that check out with what you witnessed last night?
100%. I saw JR tweet that out before we played the audio last night on postgame, and I saw it, and it's like, yeah, that's what it was. They're slow. They play slow, which being slow and playing fast are different. Like, you can be slow and play fast. They play slow. Like in the third period, there was a specific example. Robert Thomas got in on the penalty kill. He had that scoring chance where it was the breakaway. He missed the net.
You got to hit the net there.
You got to hit the net, first of all. And that goes back to a Doug Armstrong comment I think it was the offseason, or maybe it was last year when they were struggling. And he said, I sit at practices and watch these guys missing the net. But the part that actually was more frustrating was when he missed the net. It was the banner reader where he's looking up to the ceiling, and he's slow back to the bench on the line change. what Jim Montgomery talks about with pace and speed moving up ice, you have to stay in the play. When a play goes south, you got to be immediately back into it. Watch Colorado on Wednesday. They're always in plays. So that's what he's talking about with slow play and poor pace. But then on top of that, it's so hard, Marshy, to question effort or pride because these guys are prideful. These guys have effort, but it's just a different brand of hockey than what we saw when they played against Winnipeg, when they played against Florida. They brought the physicality to that team, and that opens up their game. They had none of it last night. They out-hit the team. To me, it didn't matter. Because
Buffalo,
it's because
you don't have the puck.
Yeah, Buffalo. Yeah, that's what Hitch used to say. Like when you're out hitting a team, it's typically because they have the puck longer than you. But you were chasing that game from the second period on, and I mean, it's just again, there's no fight from the entire roster to pull themselves back into the hockey game. Situationally, we've seen games where they do it. Overall, it's just not there.
So I hinted at there being maybe a disconnect between the coaching staff and the players. Take a listen to what Cam Fowler had to say post-game, and then we'll sort of compare the two audio pieces.
We were in it most of the game. You guys are fighting hard, and obviously it's a team playing with a lot of confidence over there. So I didn't quite see it the same way. I thought we continued to fight, and towards the end there, middle of the third period, they got that goal, and we just weren't able to capitalize after that. But I thought we fought hard, gave ourselves a chance to win the hockey game.
So I heard that at the beginning where he's explaining it. I know what he's saying. I think people hear it and they're like, "Oh, well, they weren't in it. They were in it because you were down by a goal."
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You're in the hockey game.
They were in it till the final pass out front, and Jimmy Snuggerud couldn't get the shot off.
Yeah, and you're in it. But him not agreeing with how Jim Montgomery put it, first of all, that's a player that's taking more pride, like we were talking about, on his team's game and is trying to make it look less porous than what the coaches. You had 9 shots on goal in the final 2 periods. You had 9 shots on goal in the first period. 2 of your top 6 wingers had less than 1 shot attempt. So to say that you were fighting in it, yeah, you were fighting in it because it was a 1-goal game and you kept it that way. I'd say your goaltender was fighting in it. Your goaltender was keeping you alive while you were searching for your game. And in the final 10 minutes, they found it. They made a push. But again, the lack of finishing and the lack of ability to put the puck in the net has also been an issue for the Blues, and they suffered from that against Buffalo.
So I know this is this question I'm going to ask you. You can take it in any direction, and it's kind of a silly question because there's a lot of things that are missing right now from this team. But if you had to pinpoint one thing, what is this team missing right now as we approach 2026?
To me, it's 2 words: killer instinct. They don't have it. They don't have it. We all remember the Doug Armstrong quote, right? Jam the knife in the brain, twist it, kill your opponent. They don't have it. The other question I asked Steve Ott last night was when he said they took the momentum from us and we never could get it back. I said, how do you get that back? And he said, we need somebody to go out there and take the game. They've got guys that can do it. Robert Thomas on that second penalty kill, he single-handedly deked 2 players out of their skates.
That was awesome.
Stenberg, who is just a young player, give him 2 years, he's probably making that play. He goes wider to the net, he's able to tip that one in. But Thomas single-handedly did that. But that was a 2-minute window.
Right.
Where was the other 58 minutes of that?
Exactly.
Like, there were scoring chances, but the theme for the Blues has not been able to put the puck in the net or see a scenario like this. And again, I hear what Cam Fowler's saying, but them being in it and fighting in it versus when you see teams that go out there, like Buffalo was in a tie hockey game and went out there and just dominated the third period.
Yeah.
That's the killer instinct that they lack right now.
There's something about their defensive scheme that sort of bothers me because it feels like, and I know the numbers towards the beginning of the season, showed, well, we're not spending a ton of time in our defensive zone. Like now it just feels like when I watch the game that they're never in the offensive zone. They're always in the defensive zone. When they do get the puck out, they dump it in, and then they go off for a line change. You might have one forechecker going in, and occasionally you'll get sustained ozone time. But, when I see a guy kind of glide from the hash marks down to the goal line, and then all of a sudden, I don't know if they're trying to cut the angle off or what they're doing instead of going full bore into, behind the net, they're kind of gliding in there, and then all of a sudden they lose the puck battle and it's going the other way. I just seen too much of that at this point, and so it's hard for me to really buy into this team because there's just something there when I watch the games. It actually does make me frustrated, back to your point.
Well, and I mean, to tie into that, Marshy, your best players weren't your best players. I mean, last night, there were 4 shifts for Jordan Kyrou in the third period. And Jim Montgomery addressed it afterwards, saying that, look, he wasn't skating. And if you're not going to skate, you're not going to play. I get it. You're in a 1-goal hockey game, and he is not on the ice. That's where Jordan Kyrou thrives. Robert Thomas, we mentioned, a breakaway where he misses the net to tie the hockey game. Pavel Buchnevich had a couple of whacks at some scoring chances, and the puck didn't go in. Now, I know that's coming off of him scoring 2 goals. Pavel Buchnevich has played better lately. But that's the issue. You don't have your top players that are there every single night in every single game to pull you back into the fight. And it's what they lack. And until they get it, you're going to see a lot of games like this where one period, they might be able to dominate. But when you lack offensive zone time, you're absolutely right, Marshy. They can't keep a forecheck going, which sometimes results in the puck going into the back of the net. You're chasing the game more times than not. And when you're not scoring offense and you're chasing hockey games, it's a tough place to be.
That's Alex Ferrario, Bradford Bruns with us. I'm Andrew Marsh. We got a text last week asking, what is the biggest storyline in St. Louis sports heading into 2026? It could be Cardinals. It could be Blues. We'll even throw Mizzou in there. Why don't we throw them in there as well? We'll answer that question next on the Fast Lane.
St. Louis Blues hockey can be heard exclusively on 101 ESPN. Get the info you need before and after every Blues game with a First Community pre- and post-game show. First Community Credit Union.
Take your best shot with First Community, and presented by Scott Lee Heating Company and Urban Chestnut Brewing Company.
Ready for action, basketball fans? BetMGM, an authorized gaming partner of the NBA, is giving players another reason to hit the court this season. BetMGM is adding extra excitement to every basket, every slam dunk, and every buzzer-beating shot with special promotions, new features, and more. Log in throughout the season to find odds boost tokens, no sweat tokens, and same-game parlay boost tokens in your account to amplify your winnings. Enjoy enhanced product features like dark mode too. We have lots in store between now and when the new champions are crowned, so log into BetMGM, an authorized gaming partner of the NBA, all throughout the basketball season to see what's new. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Missouri only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards vary and expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly.
former pros and one average Joe. You're listening to The Fast Lane on 101 ESPN.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN with Alex Ferrario and Bradford Bruns. I'm Andrew Marsh. 2:19, your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Gentlemen, we got a question last week from the text line. What's the biggest storyline in St. Louis sports heading into 2026? You can go anywhere with this. Cardinals, Blues, Battlehawks. As we know, Ricky Prohl is now the newest head coach for the Battlehawks. Bradford, you told me in the office I'd love to talk about Mizzou. They are in the state of Missouri, so we'll allow it. But Alex, what is your biggest storyline for this city heading into the new year?
As much as I think people would assume I'm going to pick the Blues, I'm actually going to go the Cardinals here because I think a Cardinals storyline for 2026 trumps the Blues.
Okay.
Because it's, will this rebuild work for the Cardinals? Mm-hmm. And it's an uncharted territory. We were talking about this on BK and Ferrario that it has been, I know it doesn't sound it, but it has been kind of exciting to talk about something like this to where you're going from consistent winning to the Cardinals going into uncharted waters that people haven't seen in a long time. What's this rebuild going to look like? And is it going to be successful quick? And what I mean by that is, are we talking 5+ years, or are we talking maybe can you turn this thing around in 3? And I think that to me is going to be the most fascinating element because in terms of what they acquire for the Brendan Donovan trade, that's going to really headline what 2026 looks like. If you can go out there and get a couple of top prospects to put into your system on top of already what you've stockpiled. But now the younger guys that you have invested in are going to start making waves through the system. J.J. Weatherholt, Rodriguez is going to continue to climb, Quinn Matthews, Liam Doyle. What do those returns look like on your investment? And then on top of all of that, do you start to see some of the guys at the major league level emerge into what you've been desperate for in terms of a star? I don't think anybody's going to do that on the pitching side. I think you've got two cases that could be on the offensive side in terms of Ivan Herrera and Alec Burleson. So as much as I feel like there's a pretty big storyline in 2026 for the Blues, to me, the biggest in St. Louis sports is going to be what this Heim era is going to look like for St. Louis, because in a couple of years, you're going to get a good answer. Mm-hmm. Is it successful, or are you talking about another rebuild while you're in a rebuild?
So Grant Francis fan club chimes in, says, Alex, we won't have an answer on the Cardinals rebuild anytime soon, maybe not even in maybe not even till 2028. My question off of this one is, this season, when will you have a feel for whether or not this is working? Can you even get a feel for this rebuild in 2026?
No, not this year. And it's a fair point from Grant Francis's fan club.
Unless they win, though, right?
If they win, then yeah. I mean, we're talking about kind of what the Blues did, but I just don't see that happening. I think you're talking before 2028. I think by 2027, you're going to start to see some of the returns because, one, you see the potential of that star of Ivan Herrera and Alec Burleson. The question is going to be, can they stay healthy? Can they play those positions that they're being put into? Herrera at catcher, Burleson at first base. And then you're also talking about some of these younger guys. I think by the end of 2026, probably middle of 2026, you're going to see a good run of J.J. Weatherholt. You'll probably see a good run of Quinn Matthews, and you'll start to see maybe Liam Doyle. I mean, those are three guys that are kind of going to be pillars of this team moving forward. So you're going to get some ideas. Now, are they going to be competitive in 2027? No, I don't think so. I think this is a 3-year span. But what you accomplish in this offseason is you stockpile your system. If you pull off this trade with the Mariners that's been rumored out there to go get 2 top 100 prospects, you've just fixed your system and better than what it's been in like 10 years. And you start to see signs of these guys developing. By 2027, you could be going into the season being like, hey, I'm a little bit more excited about this Cardinals team.
So post-lockout or strike, get really excited for that matter.
Well, let's not go negative here.
Come on, man. Why you got to bring up the lockout?
Damn.
Apparently, I'm Captain Pessimistic today.
Bradford, what happened to you?
Why don't you be pessimistic about the Mizzou Tigers?
That's fair.
Or the Battlehawks or City.
Anybody.
No, we're all sunshine and lollipops as it pertains to the Battlehawks. New head coach, new direction, maybe getting to the league championship game. We can only hope. But yeah, because my tendencies here, Marshy. We are going to travel to mid-Missouri because I do think storylines abound for this program, we should say, because...
Well, we established last week that you are a program until you have success.
Oh,
and
boy.
then once you have extended success, you then become a program.
Well, you're teetering.
I like that.
So I would say right now you're still in the program stage.
Yes.
Can you ascend to being a program? Here is my contention. And I'm not going to dwell any further, obviously, on that results from Saturday night in Jacksonville. But it does beg the question, do you have your QB1 in-house, or are you able to go out in the portal and take a big swing at the guy to be in direct competition with the Matt Zollers, or potentially lead your new offense under Chip Lindsey? And looking at the schedule, which is always a difficult thing to do because we just have the new portal window actually opening right after the start of the new year. It's a 2-week period. There's going to be activity galore. It's going to be fast and furious. But you do see the real SEC heavyweights on your schedule beginning next season. Look, you still have a huge slate of home games at Faurot Field. How did that work out for you in 25, having an unprecedented 6 in a row to begin the season? You finished your year with 8 victories. Look, in the grand scheme of things, it's a disappointment for a Missouri team that tried to make waves, tried to get to 9 or more victories for the 3rd straight season. You had expectations, I'm not going to say of qualifying for the CFP, but basically being on the fringes yet again. Now, next season, when you have the likes of A&M once more, Texas with Arch Manning, probably looking at another top 3 preseason ranking there, Oklahoma, Florida to a lesser extent, rolling into your building, and next year you have to travel to Oxford. You have to go to Athens. We're about to find out with a brand new class, essentially, and it does go year to year. You no longer have the veteran leadership at quarterback at a number of different skill positions. Will a cast consisting of Ahmad Hardy, Nick Rodriguez, and a whole lot of question marks be able to lift this Eli Drinkwitz program to another level? Or, by Missouri standards right now, is it going to be more of a middling finish? Or are you going to revert to that 6-7 win territory? Do you take that upward step in trajectory?
Come on, Bradford.
Thank you very much.
6-7.
They're a little younger at your household. What can I say?
Yeah, they are. We're not there yet.
But the bottom line is, are you basically idling? Are you stuck in neutral for a couple of seasons? Because we know just how arduous that schedule is going to get. Or is there something in the bag for Eli Drinkwitz we haven't yet seen? Because as far as the big games go, searching for those signature victories, you haven't accomplished as much when you've had those ample opportunities. How does it go when the road gets that much tougher?
It just seems like, at least here in town, there's just a ton of questions surrounding all of the teams in terms of what does the future look like. There's no set in stone. There's no warm and fuzzies heading into this new year, which is unfortunate. So
yeah, that's why. That's a really good point, Marshy. Because what's wild to think about is who has the clearest future in 2026.
I don't know.
It might be Mizzou, which is insane to say. Now, the only reason because I think the Blues would probably be the easier answer, but I don't know what that roster is going to look like come March 6th.
Mizzou football, for the record.
Well, yeah, both, really.
Yeah. So you just mentioned the Blues, and my biggest storyline for 2026 is, if this team continues to play the way that we have been, the way that we've been seeing them
inconsistent.
play, inconsistent. If we keep getting, post-game comments from Jim Montgomery, like what we listened to last segment.
Yeah.
If that continues, what will this core look like? And I'm not saying anybody's going to get traded at the deadline, especially the guys with the no trade clauses. But come off season, what does that look like?
Change is coming.
It has to.
Change is coming. And for people that say, oh, well, you're still in it, that's fine. But go back and read Doug Armstrong's comments to JR on The Athletic. He knows what this team is. He has seen that the last 4 years, it's been the same story with the exception of a couple of hot runs late in the season. He's not going to keep running that back. They were searching to trade Braden Shen last season. Now they opted to keep him, and I thought they should have kept him because the team had the ability to make a push with Jim Montgomery. No coaches are getting fired. So change is coming, and I think it's going to be the guys that are the older side of what was the core, the Fulks, the Shens, probably a Sundquist, maybe a Bennington. I don't see the Bennington happening thing, but maybe. I think the core changes in the offseason because at some point now, it's easier said than done on my end because I'm not dealing with no trade clauses.
Right.
But you can't keep having the same group of players that Jim Montgomery is saying, questioning their effort night in and night out. You can't keep having that. I think Doug Armstrong, sorry, Marshy, I think Doug Armstrong's comments actually were very telling when that piece with JR, when he was talking about the core that they're building around, and he mentioned Neighbors and Holloway and Snuggerud and Dvorsky. Not once did he mention Robert Thomas or Jordan Kyrou. Now, maybe it was a slip of the tongue, but part of me really wonders if this team is going to have some significant changes before they suit up for next season.
Well, and the question is, if you are going to make said change, who is it? How many people? And can you get the right person out of town? Or I guess it would be the wrong person if you feel like that person
I think they play together.
Yeah, exactly. If they're not playing up to their potential, I think that's the biggest question for 2026. However, we watched it happen last year where this team completely switched. You know, they switched gears, they flipped the switch, they did what they needed to do to make a playoff push, and they looked like a completely different team. I don't know if that's the case this season. It would be nice, but maybe we should just get used to that happening. I don't know, every year, every spring.
Well, God, I hope not, because like that used to piss me off with the Cardinals, where they were like, oh, well, maybe we're just a second half team. Why? Yeah. How about you're a 162 team? Some teams do get better as the season goes on, but I just don't think that benefits this team to have another run like that and get that false hope that like they figured it out. I do think it's important to note that Jim Montgomery is trying to establish something. People question the Jordan Kyrou sitting. You can't have your best players playing to the level that Jim Montgomery is frustrated with because you're trying to establish some type of culture with your younger guys. Stenberg, Dvorsky, Snuggerud. They're watching these guys. And if that's okay for them, then it's okay for the guys there. Right. You've got to find a way. And I think Jim Montgomery is really trying to accomplish this. He's not worried about the results. He's worried about the process. And the process right now is not what they want for winning hockey. And he is trying to eliminate that from the room so that the younger guys are coming in and seeing what it takes to win.
Well, hopefully 2026 is a good year for our favorite teams here in St. Louis. That's Alex Ferrario. You can listen to him every Monday through Friday, 11 to 2. And, of course, Blues pregame, postgame, everything Blues hockey. We have Alex for about 15 more minutes, and then he'll head out. And we're going to dive into what some call the best 15 minutes of radio.
Oh, baby.
The stack up. We'll see if that is the case today. We'll give our top 10 teams. The teams that we believe are the best teams in the NFL. That's coming up next right here in the Fast Lane.
Make your picks for this week's Fast Lane Pick'em Challenge at 101ESPN.com. Show off your football knowledge and see if you can top the Fast Lane and the dudes from the Rizzuto show on the point for this week's top score. The top scorer each week scores a Bud Light NFL cooler stocked with 101 ESPN and point swag. It's the Fast Lane and the Riz Show throwing down all football season long in the Pick'em Challenge. Enter your picks for this week now at 101ESPN.com.
The Fast Lane Pick'em Challenge is refreshed by Bud Light, official beer of the NFL. Easy to Sunday, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly.
You're already watching the games, football fans. You might as well get paid for your hunches, and that's where Underdog Fantasy comes in. If you watch football, you're already qualified to rock. Football season is rolling right now. Underdog makes it simple. Just choose whether or not players will go higher or lower on their stats. They've got yards, they've got touchdowns, even fantasy points. Your fantasy football player, great. They'll post the fantasy number for you. You choose whether or not that player is going to go higher or lower in their fantasy stats. That's it. It's great. Get your entries right, and you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. And yes, you can play right here in our state of Missouri. Plus, now's the best time to get in with Underdog. Underdog Unwrapped means promos, boost, and special offers during the holiday season. You're going to love it. So download that app today. Use my promo code Anthony to score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. Again, that promo code is Anthony at Underdog. Make plays, win money. Must be 18 or older and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
College Bowl doubleheader. Game 1, it's the Liberty Bowl, Cincinnati and Navy. Game 2, the Duke's Mayo Bowl, Mississippi State and Wake Forest. Coverage starts at 5:30. The NCAA plays on 101 ESPN. 101 ESPN Sports Center.
Sabres strike down no time. Bradford Bruns, your Sports Center update is powered by Saliga Heating and Cooling. Last night at Enterprise Center, surging Buffalo staved off St. Louis 4-2. Lindy Ruff's group extended its winning streak to 9 games. The Blues visit Central leading Colorado tomorrow. That New Year's Eve puck drop set for 8 p.m. Also Wednesday, CFP quarterfinal action beginning with Miami, Ohio State. We feature Oregon, Texas Tech, Alabama, Indiana, as well as Ole Miss, Georgia on January 1st. NFL-wise, Chargers QB Justin Herbert will sit out Week 18's matchup versus Denver. This SportsCenter update was presented by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin heating and air conditioning dealer.
Buckle up. This is the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN.
Stack up.
Gentlemen, the NFL is wide open right now as we head into the final week of the regular season. It is time for the Week 18 NFL Stack Up. Gentlemen, I'm excited to have you join us today. Actually, it's Week 17, so we're going over Week 17, Week 18 coming up here in the next couple of days. But if you don't know how this works, Alex, we go through the top 10 teams. All three of us will present a team, and then we'll come together to form one giant stack up 1 through 10.
Okay.
So, Bradford, you have your teams. I have my teams. Alex, you have your teams.
All right.
Who would like to present the number 1 team for Week 17?
Let me get it started, guys, because the prohibitive favorite right now of mine heading into the last week of regular season play, he is him indeed, and he's leading the finest team in the AFC. That would be Drake May, your MVP for the campaign, in light of what Matthew Stafford did not do against the Falcons last night. Look, New England has done everything you could have asked in year 1 under Mike Vrabel and more, and May surprisingly now leads the entire league in QBR, the best completion percentage. But don't confuse this guy with somebody who's just dinking and dunking. He has a nice complementary running game for that matter, too. I love how the defense has been able to round into form under Vrabel, obviously. And I said it yesterday on the show, Marshy. I firmly believe we still spend so much energy and so much time focusing on Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. And is Buffalo going to be able to knock off New England in the postseason if these two divisional rivals meet? Give New England its just due, because I didn't gain a ton, obviously, from that throttling of the New York Jets. But each and every week, this team never misses 13 wins or more. New England at the top of the heap.
You have New England?
I have New England not at the top, though.
Really? Okay. Who is your team at
My
1?
number 1 team is San Francisco.
Okay.
And I have, for those that listen to BK and Ferrario, I have pushed back on this all season long because I don't think Brock Purdy is a quarterback that could get it done. And that's me saying this, who's been to the Super Bowl a couple of times. I don't know how they keep doing this, but to me, they've got the best coach right now in the NFC. It's Kyle Shanahan. He should be the coach of the year. I watched this team, and my only hesitancy with New England as number 1 is I saw them choke in that game against Buffalo, and I looked through their schedule, and I don't know how many Super Bowl contenders that they have gone up against.
Okay.
To where I look at San Francisco, they just took down the Chicago Bears. But whether you believe it or not that they're a Super Bowl contender, they're one of the better teams in the NFC. They embarrassed the Colts, even with it was Grandpa Rivers on that team. They've got their butts kicked by the Rams. I understand that, but as the last 3 to 4 weeks, I think the 49ers have been playing better football than the Patriots, so they're my number 1 team.
All right, so it looks like I'm the deciding vote.
Oh, here we go. Controversy already.
I got to go with New England. I think they've been a solid team all season. I know they lost a few weeks ago. San Francisco has been doing great. I have New England at 1, so New England will be our number 1 team. However, I do have San Francisco number 2, and if San Francisco does win out, they win the NFC. I think the NFC is a better conference. In our final stack up, I'll probably end up throwing them into the number 1 spot. So I have New England 1, San Francisco 2. Can we all agree on San Francisco being number 2?
I'm absolutely right there. Did you realize, guys, the 49ers punted a grand total of 2 times in the month of December?
That's crazy.
Twice.
I was told that this is an argument segment. Should I argue more for this? Because this is way too agreeing upon it. Oh, yeah, we're all 1 and 2. It's fine.
It's early. It's
this
early.
This is trash. One of these needs to be 10.
Just wait.
All right, so let's move on to number 3. Number 3, I have Jacksonville.
Ooh, man, I have Jacksonville actually at number 4.
Okay.
I had the Rams at 3.
I can't put them there after last night.
I know, but here's my only thought process with it. They just went up against a massive matchup against the Seahawks that had you guys put them in the stack up. I think that one was the ultimate high, and then I think you were going to get the ultimate low. I still think, and although the Rams can't stop the run, I still think the Rams, when they have Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua on the field, are too tough to go up against, and I will trust Sean McVay more than I will trust why am I blanking on his name in Jacksonville right now?
Liam Cohen.
Yes, Liam Cohen.
Duval.
And I'm also going to trust the quarterback more than Trevor Lawrence when the postseason rolls around. So if I'm looking at the best team right now, if you told me Rams and Jacksonville were playing in the Super Bowl, I would pick the Rams to win it.
Speaking of quarterbacks, we have a quandary here, full-fledged at number 3, because perhaps against my better judgment, I'm rolling with the Seattle Seahawks, maybe in spite of the quarterback. Because, look, guys, as much as we want to give credit to San Francisco, the hottest team offensively, no doubt, in the league, Seattle is still in control of that number 1 seed, all told, in the NFC. Now, it will be decided on Saturday regardless, but I'm thinking about the free agent acquisitions that were made before the season even started by the GM there in the Pacific Northwest in John Schneider, and think about one of the most electric guys in the game also added at this deadline in Rashid Shaheed. I do like every component of this Seahawks team to go deep into the postseason, except for perhaps at the quarterback position.
Well, by rules, we all have 3 different teams. By rules, Seattle was the highest ranked team in last week's stack up. So because you presented them Bradford, we'll throw the Seattle Seahawks at number 3.
Okay.
I have Jacksonville once again. I'll present them at 4. As we'll roll through this, Alex,
this
I know
one was
you got to get out of here.
No. We're fine. We're fine on time. We don't have to rush through this segment. I have Jaguars at 4 as well.
Okay.
I still don't know if I trust that quarterback in the postseason, but I also can't deny what they have done in terms of putting up the amount of points Jacksonville has put up, and this is without some of their best weapons. The Jaguars 4 for me.
Jacksonville is way down on my list, so we will simply move forward for now.
Okay.
Way down.
All right, so my next team I will present is the Denver Broncos.
Okay. I will present the Rams on that one.
Got the Broncos because I know at some point in time the luck, if you call it that, in 1-score games could run out, but give me Sean Payton, give me an attack that is 11-2 so far when it comes to, yes, those 1-score games. That's how many tight games in which Denver has been involved. Like you, Alex, I have some qualms about Bo Nix, especially in the playoffs, but it's a well-rounded team. I still trust this defense, and if Nix can do anything vertically, I trust this team to run the football accordingly when winter rolls
anybody
around.
that listens to BK and Ferrario wouldn't be surprised to hear that I had the Broncos at 8 on my list.
Okay. I'm not a huge believer in the Broncos, but you know their record is what it is. So far we have New England at 1, San Francisco 2, Seattle 3, Jacksonville 4, Denver 5. For 6, I'm going to present the Houston Texans.
Yep, that's mine.
Okay.
That one was easy. I actually debated putting them at 5 above the Rams because Matt Stafford peed on his leg. I personally, I've said this before, I think the Texans are the equivalent of a goaltender that you don't want to face going into the playoffs.
I like that.
Where you're like, no way. Nobody wants to play that defense. Their offense isn't anything to write home about, and I know, Bradford, we've talked about how they nearly lost to the Raiders.
Read my mind.
That defense is going to be a nightmare in the postseason, so I'm with you.
I fear the defense, the offense once again. You thought, given that start against the Chargers a week or so ago, C.J. Stroud, a couple of bombs, unleashing them right away, almost ruining this guy's fantasy prospects. Look, I can't go with Houston that high. I understand what you guys are saying. That's where the Rams actually come in for me. So we'll take it down a notch.
Okay, so you have the Rams right here at 6.
That's correct.
Houston will be our number 6 team. Alex, you've been high on the Rams.
Yep.
Bradford, you're high on the Rams. I do not have the Rams at 7, but by letter of the law, the Rams will be our 7th team.
Yeah. Look, you definitely have some qualms about it now in light of last night. Obviously, the previous week, that was a nip and tuck game against Seattle. You basically frittered it away, yes, albeit on the road. I can't explain the first half of the Atlanta game, okay? I don't know if this team was necessarily playing possum. Yes, you didn't have Devontae Adams, but make no mistake about it. When it comes to this coming weekend, Sean McVay, he's going to play those starters at full tilt. There's still a ton for which to play. So no guys sitting this weekend.
All right, so at 8, I have the Chicago Bears. That's my team that I'm presenting. I know they lost to the San Francisco 49ers. I still think the Bears are a solid team. That was a close game. They had a chance to win that game. So the Bears from last week, they were at 6. For me, they're dropping down 2 spots. Bears at 8 for me.
So I had the Bears at 9. I had the Broncos actually at... Because we're at 6, right?
We're at 8 now.
Okay, my God, we're all over the place. I'm sorry. I had the Bears at 9. I had the Broncos at 8 because I had the Bills at 7. So because this is kind of moved around, I'll present the Bills in this one. I think they have the quarterback. I know people are down on them. I totally get it. Defense can't stop anybody, and it was a pretty embarrassing loss that they just suffered. They have Josh Allen, who, in my opinion, even with Drake May's MVP status, is the best quarterback in the AFC. Frankly, probably in this postseason. So I will present the Bills in this spot.
I don't dispute your case about Josh Allen. How about another quarterback, though, who literally just won the Super Bowl? And yes, while he threw for 6 yards in the second half against the Bills. Look, the pedigree, the body of work, Saquon Barkley, give it to him as you did in the first half. But this is the reason as to why Philly comes in at number 8 for me, Chicago at number 9. You're still talking about a Super Bowl caliber defense, okay? Whether it's against the run or against the pass.
No way.
Vic Fangio has these guys getting after it when the weather gets salty. I trust in the offense to make just enough plays if A.J. Brown isn't either reading a book or crying about it.
All right, so we have 3 different teams. The Bears ranked 6 last week. Bills were 8. The Eagles were not even ranked, so the Bears...
Get them out of here, Bradford. That's trash.
I told you at the tail end there would be surprises.
The Bears are at 8, 9, and 10. I'll just throw it out there. I have Buffalo at 10, and I'll have Philly at 9.
Oh, okay. So you had Philly on there. So I didn't
have Philly.
I didn't have Philly on there. Maybe I probably should have the more I think about it. I had the Chargers at 10 and the Bears at 9. But I can get on board with the Bills being where they were at. Even though I had them up higher, I think that would be where you put the Bills. I can't put the Eagles above 10. As great as their defense is, and their defense is elite, I don't trust that offense.
That's fair. I mean, it's fair enough. I had Chicago actually as the number 9 squad. I am going to. So, do we have a consensus on number 9 now? We're still trying to hash that one out. Okay.
I can get behind putting Buffalo at 9. They were 8 last week.
And then the Bears at 10.
Well, the Bears are 8.
Okay, so
I'll put
Buffalo
Philly
9
at 10 because
Philly
they were
10.
outside of the top 10. If we go Buffalo 9, Philly 10, I can get behind that.
Okay, I've got a bombshell for you at 10. Hear me out on this one.
If you say Carolina, I will end this show.
I am staying as far away from the NFC South as possible. This is a team that is going to qualify for the playoffs in the final week of regular season play. You tell me right now that I don't have a case for the Baltimore Ravens with or without Lamar Jackson. Guys, think about the past few weeks of play, okay?
Give you the case.
Think about
Lamar Jackson.
Blanking Cincinnati for that matter. Yes, you lost, as a matter of fact, to New England, albeit barely, and you took care of business against Green Bay. Was that game not at Lambeau Field, if I'm not mistaken, with Mr. Huntley at the helm instead of Jackson? It's a pretty simple formula here. Give the ball to King Henry 35 or more times again. This defense is playing better, as it usually does, much better in the second half under Coach Harbaugh. I'm telling you, should this team qualify, and it will in a runaway against Pittsburgh on Sunday night.
Are you kidding? They can't compete against Pittsburgh.
Please.
Every time they play them, Pittsburgh's better than them.
Oh, my gosh, that's a 2-touchdown game.
You can't say hand the ball to Henry and win the football game when Micah Parsons wasn't on the field.
Alex, 2-touchdown game on Sunday night. You want to put a little something down on that?
Yes.
Kid you not.
Absolutely.
Come on.
All right, I can't do it. We're going to have Buffalo
get that
at
trash
9.
out of here, Bradford.
Yeah. Philly at 10. Bradford, you had Philly in the top 10 anyway, so we're going to roll with them. This is our top 10
All right,
for this week. New England 1, San Francisco 2, Seattle 3, Jacksonville's 4, Denver at 5. Houston is the 6th team. 7 is the LA Rams, 8 Chicago, 9 Buffalo, and the Philadelphia Eagles are back in the top 10 as they are at number 10. That is your Week 17 NFL stack-up. Alex,
Yeah.
I know you got to get out of here.
I appreciate it, buddy.
No, I thank you for sticking around.
I tell you what, you guys are going to do a great job. I'm going to go get my girls from my wife at work, and we're going to listen to Bradford and Marsh kill the fast lane on the way home.
Happy New Year to you, buddy.
You too.
Happy
Our
New Year.
argument felt fun, buddy. I don't look at you the same way I look at BK. You and I, that was a fun argument.
A different angle.
I like it, guys. You have a great show. Thanks for letting me swing in for a little bit.
Awesome. Thank you, Alex. We're actually going to do the Gauntlet today at 3 o'clock. So text into the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646. We are off early today. We get out at 4 because we had the Music City Bowl. That is Illinois and Tennessee. And the kickoff will be at 4:30. So text in if you want to play the Gauntlet. We're going to do a quick What's Trending coming up next right here in the Fast Lane.
Miss the Blues game? Want to hear the highlights? Need player reaction? Want more analysis and opinion? It's all here on Curbside, your next day postgame podcast with a voice of the St. Louis Blues, Chris Kerber. Catch new episodes of Curbside every morning after every Blues game on 101ESPN.com or on the 101 mobile app.
Curbside is presented by Blue Note Roofing. Roofing, siding, and gutters. Your St. Louis roofing experts. Visit BlueNoteRoofing.com for a free inspection. And by Bellman Automotive. For the best price on a new Buick, GMC, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, or used vehicle, shop Bellman in Troy. Online at Bellman.com. You can't do better than Bellman.
Ready for action, basketball fans? BetMGM, an authorized gaming partner of the NBA, is giving players another reason to hit the court this season. BetMGM is adding extra excitement to every basket, every slam dunk, and every buzzer-beating shot with special promotions, new features, and more. Log in throughout the season to find odds boost tokens, no sweat tokens, and same-game parlay boost tokens in your account to amplify your winnings. Enjoy enhanced product features like dark mode too. We have lots in store between now and when the new champions are crowned, so log into BetMGM, an authorized gaming partner of the NBA, all throughout the basketball season to see what's new. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only, Missouri only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards vary and expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly.
Strap yourself in. You're in the fast lane on 101 ESPN. What are the hot topics in the sports world?
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
It's time to find out with
What's Trending? Brought to you by Elite Comfort Experts. Heating and cooling with no gimmicks, just guarantees. EliteComfortExperts.com.
Creeping up on 3 o'clock in the Lou in the fast lane. Bradford Bruns and Andrew Marsh with you on this occasion. Almost gauntlet time on a Tuesday, as a matter of fact. Abbreviated show, which means, Marshy, we need to dive right into it as it relates to the other two CFP quarterfinal games we didn't get to preview yesterday on the show. So, New Year's Day, 3 o'clock specifically, Alabama and Indiana. Talking about the Rose Bowl, the Hoosiers' first appearance in Pasadena, would you believe it, in 58 years. Woo. Favored by 7 right now. Alabama, nice story insofar as you had a 17-point rally to knock off Oklahoma in round number 1. But I truly wonder whether this team, one-dimensional and all, can hang with IU for 4 quarters.
I don't think so. I think Kurt Cignetti's going to have his team ready. I think Indiana is the best team. They're number 1 for a reason. And I think those Notre Dame fans out there that have been throwing shade at Alabama for what seems to be the last month, I think they have their day on New Year's Day as Indiana, in my opinion, smokes Alabama in the Rose Bowl.
Oh, not even close, huh?
I don't think it'll be close.
I think Indiana, obviously, is a team that feasts on being able to create and produce turnovers, right? Best in the nation, plus 18 margin. Alabama hasn't exactly emphasized ball security of late. If you get to Ty Simpson, if you're unable to really allow him to get into that sense of having a clean pocket and whatnot, could get ugly in a hurry. Now, from that game to another one, obviously involving 2 SEC foes, it is a rematch of the mid-October matchup between Georgia and Ole Miss. This is the finale for round number 2. That's at 7 o'clock, and we will have it here on 101 ESPN, January the 1st. The Rebels motivated, Marshy, in a number of different ways, as we well know. Absolutely ran roughshod over Tulane in round number 1, and still smarting over the fact, too, that you gave that game away in the 4th quarter of the first matchup this season. Georgia piled up 510 yards of offense in that instance. Do we see an encore? Do we see something different?
You know, I'm sort of rooting for Ole Miss because of the whole Lane Kiffin situation. I think it would be a real fast lane to their former coach if they can make their way to at least the semifinal, just to show, like, hey, we're more than our former head coach. But, man, if Georgia plays the way they did in the SEC championship game, I just don't see it for Ole Miss. That Georgia team, they're coming on strong as of late. Granted, they played Alabama, who a lot of people don't believe in, so who really knows, right? But I think this Georgia team is good, and there's a reason why they won the SEC championship game. I think they get the job done. And I, for one, am excited to see what that semifinal looks like on that side of the bracket.
Indeed, indeed. Georgia currently favored by 6.5. Look, if there's one guy, with all due respect to Pete Golding, the new head man there for Ole Miss, if there's one other coach in the country I don't want to give basically a month's worth of preparation to, that would be Kirby Smart. And you referenced, obviously, the Bulldogs having come on in a stronger fashion in the second half, specifically that defense. It's a younger unit in terms of impact players than what you usually see keying that side of the football for Georgia. But to wit, 7 points allowed, an average of 7 in the last 4 games combined. That unit continuing to strengthen, and it may not always look pretty on the page or on film, but Gunnar Stockton consistently makes plays at the biggest times. He avoids the turnovers typically, which you were not able to say for the most part about his predecessor, Carson Beck.
Do you believe that this round will produce blowouts? I know I said that I think Indiana will blow out Alabama, but we talked about it yesterday. Miami, Ohio State. You look at the spread in that one.
Yeah,
it's more than a 1-score game. What do you think happens in these next few days? Is it similar to the first round, or will we see a more competitive slate?
Yeah, first 2 games in the first round were really, really good. Okay, they were exciting, albeit in different ways. You had the rock fight between A&M and Miami, but that was entertaining in its own way, and great defense was on display. I fear that you're going to get at least a pair of blowouts. I do truly believe Oregon, as well as Texas Tech, that will be a game until the end. I worry about whether Miami for 4 quarters can hang, frankly, with OSU. Indiana, Alabama, I don't see a way. I don't envision a situation in which Alabama is able to, being one-dimensional as it is, stick with Indiana into even the second half of that game. But on the low here, the most entertaining game and the one that is projected to have the highest score without question, Georgia Ole Miss. Basically throw all of your predictions out of the window because that first matchup, basically like 45-38, this one could get into the 70s as well. And I want to see Ole Miss, just to make certain people uncomfortable, make this a game for 4 quarters. I'll side with Georgia, but it wouldn't shock me if Ole Miss were to engineer a mild upset.
Well, we'll have 3 of those 4 games for you. On the first, we'll have an Orange Bowl kickoff at 11, Rose Bowl kickoff at 3, Sugar Bowl kickoff at 7 to start 2026. We will not have the Ohio State and Miami game, as the Blues will take on the Avalanche that night. Pregame for that one starts at 7. Puck drop will be at 8. That is Bradford Bruns. What's Trending is over, and because we are off early today, that means we have to push the gauntlet up. Gabe will be our contestant coming up next, right here in the Fast Lane.
Start your day with the morning after on 101 ESPN. Get in the know first on everything St. Louis sports with Tim McKernan, Doug Vaughn, and Martin Kilcoy. Listen to TMA weekday mornings from 7 to 11 a.m. on 101 ESPN. The morning after is presented by Brown and Crouppen Law Firm. KXOS, WXOS, HD1 East St. Louis, 101 ESPN is driven by Brown and Crouppen Law Firm. Don't slow down. You're in the fast lane on 101 ESPN. 4 warriors, 4 categories, 1 challenger. Can you survive the gauntlet?
Brought to you by Blue Note Roofing. Roofing, siding, and gutters. Visit BlueNoteRoofingSTL.com for a free inspection.
We have an early gauntlet today here in the fast lane. We're off early at 4 o'clock, so we're doing the gauntlet around 3. We welcome Gabe to the show. Welcome to the gauntlet, Gabe. How you doing today?
Doing well. How are you guys?
We're doing fantastic. Obviously, no Anthony, no Jamie, no Carey. You're stuck with me today. Is that all right?
Yeah, no, that'll work.
All right, perfect. So I'm going to head to the cone of silence. Bradford is going to take it from here, and we'll see how you do, Gabe. Good luck.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Awesome.
All right, Gabe, you know the drill. First timer or not, as a competitor, what do I need to do in order to get this thing started?
Say that again, sorry?
I'm going to spin that wheel for you, all right? Here we go.
Okay.
Gabe, we have to pose the question. Do you have a preference today as we get ready for New Year's?
I mean, anything but random works for me.
All right, well, you're in luck in that department today because we have football as we get ready for Week 18 in the season. So I'm going to get to those questions ready for you, sir. Just as a quick refresher as well, should you answer the question without any options, 2 points apiece for those answers. If you need the options but still score 1, that is a 1-pointer. And then obviously an incorrect question, an incorrect answer fetches nothing, but we will get a winner regardless today. You ready to go?
We're ready.
All right, Gabe, here we go. Question number 1. Can you tell us the number 1 seed in the AFC going into last year's playoffs?
Number 1 seed going to let's go with the Buffalo Bills. Final answer.
All right, moving on to question number 2. The Houston Texans. Can you tell us the team that Houston defeated in the first round of last year's playoffs?
Let me get the options.
Okay, they are the Denver Broncos, Jacksonville Jaguars, or LA Chargers?
Chargers. Final answer.
Question number 3, here we go. This season, tell us the NFL leader in sacks, individual player.
Myles Garrett.
And finally, tell us the team, college football here, that recently won the Xbox Bowl.
Let's go Central Arkansas. Final answer.
Just a tiny shot in the dark on that one?
Yeah.
All right, we are going to get Marshy back in here. Something tells me we won't have a ton of individuals in the cone of silence today. So, Gabe, first impressions, how do you think you fared today?
Pretty good. Wish I would have taken the options on the Texans question. Pretty good.
Okay. All right. We'll see how it pans out. Marshy, probably don't need to ask you this, but how was that cone of silence?
It was good. It was very silent.
Peaceful.
Very peaceful.
Tranquil.
Yes.
All right.
Tranquil, yeah.
Not beguiling, but tranquil.
No, yes.
All right. Well, Gabe brought his A game as a newcomer today. So you know more than ever, my friend, you have to pack that lunch.
All right.
You ready for it?
I'm ready to go.
All right. Your category is, we're taking it to the pigskin. Football. Marshy, let's see how you fare on this one, buddy. Question number 1. Tell us last year's number 1 seed in the AFC heading into the postseason.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I know the Bills hosted the AFC Championship game. Wow. Who else was in there? They played the first week they played the Broncos. So if they had the bye, then they wouldn't have played. So it wasn't them. It wasn't the Chiefs. Jeez, who else was in the playoffs? Was it the Ravens? Well, if Lamar should or could have won the MVP, they were bounced. I'll go with the Ravens. Final answer.
Question number 2. Can you tell us the team that the Houston Texans defeated in the first round of last year's playoffs?
So that was Justin Herbert and the Los Angeles Chargers. He hadn't thrown a ton of picks all season long, and then he had a few in that game. I believe it was a Saturday. So I'll go Los Angeles Chargers. Final answer.
I think that was the opening contest of the first round.
Yeah, it always is.
Mm-hmm. All right. Question number 3. This season, can you tell us the individual player leader in the NFL in sacks? We need the player.
I think it's Myles Garrett. Wasn't he going to... He was heading into this week with a chance to break the record, if I'm not mistaken. I'll go with Myles Garrett. Final answer.
And finally, question number 4. We're taking it to the college side.
Okay.
Give us the program that recently won the esteemed Xbox Bowl.
Oh, my gosh. The Xbox Bowl.
It was a big one.
I remember seeing a photo of the MVP, and he had like the accomplishment. Oh, jeez. What team was that? I'm going to have to use the options on that one.
Okay, they are Missouri State, Arkansas State, or Alabama Birmingham.
Was it Missouri State? I remember Anthony picked Missouri State to cover in that game for Bet the Board, and they didn't. So I'm going to eliminate them. Who are the other 2 teams?
Arkansas State.
Okay.
Alabama Birmingham.
Oh. Alabama, Birmingham, Arkansas. I think if I'm right, the guy that I remember picturing holding the MVP, it was like black and red was their color scheme. And I think Arkansas State has that color scheme. I'm going to go with Arkansas State. Final answer.
All right, let's go through these. Gabe versus Marshy, final gauntlet of 2025. Wow. And we are going to start at the very top.
Okay.
Here we go. The number 1 seed in the AFC heading into last season's playoffs. Gabe needed the options.
Okay.
Gabe went with the Baltimore Ravens. Marshy, you were pouring over it as well, and you settled on Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. Correct answer is the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, they did play it. Did they play at Arrowhead?
Indeed.
Man, I thought they didn't.
0-0 through 1. The Houston Texans last year, first round.
Wait a minute. They had an incredible regular season.
Of course.
Why did I forget? Okay.
How quickly we forget. Nonetheless, the Houston Texans, flavor of the season now and last year in the first round, also recorded a victory over which of those squads out in the AFC. Gabe needed some options. At the end of the day, Gabe went with the LA Chargers. Marshy went with the LA Chargers. Correct answer? The LA Chargers. But, Marshy, you didn't need the options there. It's a 2-1 edge, halfway home. This season, the player that leads the NFL, who leads the NFL in sacks recorded, this was, boom, a no-brainer for Gabe. He said, give me Myles Garrett. Marshy, you did likewise. Myles Garrett. Without any further ado, correct answer, Myles Garrett. So here we go, heading into question number 4. It is 4-3 in favor of Marshy. For question 4, fortunately, we have different answers here. So it's hanging in the balance. We'll take it to the college side. The team that recently claimed the Xbox Bowl. Your options were Missouri State, Arkansas State, Alabama, Birmingham. Shockingly, we needed some options for this particular question. Gabe went with Central Arkansas, which was not exactly on the board. Marshy, you ultimately went with Arkansas State. This was a game between Arkansas State, the Red Wolves, and the Missouri State Bears. It was a crazy, valiant effort by our first-timer. But Gabe,
you have chosen poorly. You lose. Not today.
Gabe Marshy at the end of the afternoon got the job done, but it was a good one. It was 5-3. We appreciate your listening and especially your participation today, and we hope you have an awesome 2026.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Good job, Marshy.
Awesome. Thanks, Gabe. Thanks for playing. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, take it easy, guys. Have a good New Year.
Thank you,
as
sir.
well. Thank you.
And then Marshy, Missouri State. Nice season. FBS in a real legitimate conference as well. Just had to go and look for a new head coach.
Man,
that's how it goes.
I'm really bummed that I missed that first question now that I think about how much we talked about Kansas City last year somehow winning every single game. It seemed like one possession game. They just found ways to win. That one really stings, Bradford, but we got the job done either way.
Yes, you did.
Football was the category today. Well, we have to do our Pick'em Challenge for Week 18. So Bradford and I will go over who we have winning this upcoming week, Saturday, Sunday, to finish out the regular season. Week 18 Pick'em Challenge is next right here on 101 ESPN.
It's time for another moment in Blues history.
On this day back in 2017, the Blues would host the Carolina Hurricanes, defeating them 3-2. Kyle Brodziak would score in the first, Patrick Berglund in the second, 42 seconds in. Then Carolina would get the next two, and then 8:58 in the third, Scotty Upshaw would score his sixth of the season. Picking up the win, Carter Hutton stopping 23 of 25 shots.
This date in Blues history is powered by Classic Air Care.
Make your life more comfortable for all your HVAC, plumbing, and electrical needs. ClassicAirCare.com.
BetMGM is adding extra excitement to every basket, every slam dunk, and every buzzer-beating shot with special promotions, new features, and more. Log in throughout the season to find odds boost tokens, no sweat tokens, and same-game parlay boost tokens in your account to amplify your winnings. Enjoy enhanced product features like dark mode too. We have lots in store between now and when the new champions are crowned, so log into BetMGM, an authorized gaming partner of the NBA, all throughout the basketball season to see what's new. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only, Missouri only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards vary and expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly.
Score free tickets to Avenged Sevenfold and Good Charlotte right now at 101ESPN.com or on your 101 mobile app powered by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. This is the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Get ready to pick 'em. It's the Fast Lane Football Pick 'em Challenge on 101 ESPN.
Refreshed by Bud Light, official beer of the NFL. Easy to Sunday, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly.
It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. 3:22 is your time check. Brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, officially licensed Rolex jeweler. It's time for the Week 18 Pick'em Challenge. Bradford, there's a handful of games that are very meaningful this week. There's other games out there that if you don't pay attention to them, well, it's probably a good thing. You don't want to waste your time. So let's go over some of the bigger games. We'll go over our lock of the week, maybe the biggest upset, and the biggest toss-up of the week. One game that you really don't know what's going to happen. Let's start on Saturday. Panthers-Buccaneers, a lot on the line, a chance to win the NFC South. Now, there is a caveat to that because if the Bucs win, but the Falcons win on Sunday against the Saints, even though the Panthers were to have lost to the Bucs on Saturday, the Panthers would win the division because Atlanta won last night. If Atlanta lost, well, then it would be a winner-take-all. So the Bucs need to win said game on Saturday and have the Saints continue to play good ball as they take on the Falcons at noon on Sunday.
Who said that Kirk Cousins wouldn't have an impact on the divisional race at the tail end? I don't know about you, but I know that everything here still has to swirl around and basically work in favor of, side with Carolina. But to be perfectly honest with you, in spite of what we saw against Seattle, and Bryce Young again had an also-ran sort of game at quarterback, Rico Dowdle, I'm not sure exactly what they're doing offensively in Carolina. But Tampa Bay is a dumpster fire, if ever we've seen one, even by that division's lowly standards. Losses in 7 of the past 8 games. Clearly, Baker Mayfield is not right. This is a guy who, throughout the first quarter plus of the schedule, Marshy, was playing as if he belonged in the MVP consideration. Now, whether it's physically, something's going on there, whether they're just simply not gelling as far as the downfield passing game, now you essentially have all of your weapons back. You have Irving in the backfield. Yeah, he's not hitting pay dirt a lot. This defense is porous. This offense simply cannot get in sync. I know this game is at Raymond James. I'm riding with Carolina.
Are you? Okay.
On the road.
So I think this whole situation is funny to me. I'm actually going to go with Tampa Bay in this one. I think Tampa Bay wins. They're a 2.5-point favorite right now.
Right.
However, I'll just move to Sunday. I think the Falcons beat the Saints. And despite the Bucs, in my opinion, winning on Saturday against the Panthers, they will find themselves out of a playoff spot because it is one of those things where it's a little too late. You should have gotten the job done, taken matters into your own hands, and not let another team, a team that's eliminated, by the way, basically dictate your season. That's what I think plays out, and I think the Panthers end up in the playoffs.
And what seemed to be in that division, talking about, of course, the NFC South, a foregone conclusion as far as the basement dweller. New Orleans actually is in last place in the division by just a game. Can you tell me what has been happening with Tyler Shuck, Chris Olave all of a sudden playing through back issues, looking profoundly good at wide receiver? Do the people actually in the Big Easy have something to which to look forward next season? I'm serious.
I agree with you. I think Tyler Shuck has been a pleasant surprise for the city of New Orleans. I did not expect him to be a good NFL quarterback by any means. I don't know if you saw the tape from the Combine.
Well, he's 32 years old. There's also that.
Yeah, well, you know, I just didn't see it happening. But they've been playing good football. And although they're eliminated, you have to be excited about what this team has done over the past month.
It's fun.
I don't think they beat the Falcons because the Falcons are also playing good football. So that's my pick for those two games. There's another game on Saturday, and we've talked about this game a few times over the past couple of days, but Seattle and San Francisco. San Francisco is the home team in this one, but Seattle is a 1.5-point favorite heading into Saturday night's game. Who are you rolling with? I've said it multiple times. I'm going with the 49ers. Sam Darnold was in the same exact position that he is in now last year when he took on the Lions, a part of the Vikings squad. I see something similar happening on Saturday night. And for me, I'm going with San Francisco as they will take the number 1 seed in the NFC.
Slightly surprised that the Niners are only favored by 1.5 points, especially being at home there. And I understand those who would be in the camp of Seattle. It's still a very well-rounded football team. Now, over the last couple of weeks, I will say that opposing D coordinators have done a better job of hemming in or neutralizing Smith and Jigba to a degree. And so if you are able to limit him somewhat vertically or even in the intermediate game, then it becomes exceedingly difficult for Sam Darnold, more than usual. San Francisco, we've talked about it, humming an offense right now like no other. This team's never going to have full health. And yet for Kyle Shanahan, it doesn't apparently matter because the biggest key here, not Brock Purdy. I love what he's done. I love what he did against the Bears. 5 touchdowns. He had a fantastic December. But Christian McCaffrey is that bell cow and then some. The 49ers ride him to victory. And who knows for how long this team could be playing in Santa Clara.
Yeah, who knows? That would shock me if I told myself from 3 months ago that this would be the case. I would laugh right in my face. Let's scroll down. Let's go to Sunday Night Football. Another huge game. Ravens, Steelers. Winner takes the AFC North. Who do you have winning this game?
Right now, Baltimore, actually, when you're talking about being on the road, take that for what it's worth. Favored by 3.5, and yet there's so much uncertainty, right? As far as whether Lamar Jackson will be able to suit up. Look, he's going out there for this game. Final contest of the regular season. Your playoff life is hanging there in the balance. Great job collectively by that team to be able to put up 40-plus points at Lambeau Field against the Packers last weekend, and it's a simple formula. I talked about it with Alex, with you, about an hour or so ago. I firmly believe if you line up hat on hat, despite the veteran-laden bunch that is the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, there's not going to be a way to consistently stop Henry for 4 full quarters. I think he gets the job done. Harbaugh, for once, ultimately decides I'm putting it in his gut. I'm pounding it again because for what else do you have to wait? You don't have any other additional semblance of a season. You have to win and you get in. I think Pittsburgh is going to be absolutely kicking itself collectively. And then we've talked about DJ Metcalf, obviously ad nauseum. Look, if this was it too, I just want to say this for Aaron Rodgers in the NFL. As far as watching him one final time, we know that the physical skills, they have diminished considerably. In terms of getting out there, being among still the most cerebral guys and trying to will this offense, will this team to a playoff berth, didn't have enough around him. I'm puzzled as to how the running threats have not been used in recent weeks. And it makes me wonder, are we seeing one way or the other the end of the line for 2 of the mainstays, not only in that division, but in the NFL at large on the sideline? Mike Tomlin, Coach Harbaugh for Baltimore. Is somebody going at the end of this weekend?
Yeah, I don't know. Aaron Rodgers, he could be done after the season. He also could land himself in Minnesota to take over that spot. That was something that was hot this past offseason. Maybe he goes for one more year, completes the whole Brett Favre thing. You know, obviously you throw in the Pittsburgh route as well. But
how would you feel about that, by the way, based on what you've seen this year?
I don't know. I would like to see J.J. McCarthy progress and get those reps on that rookie deal. But if Aaron Rodgers comes in and if he can do what Brett Favre did back in 2009 and take them to the NFC Championship game, maybe history repeats itself, except for you don't throw a pick when you can just, I don't know, kick a field goal.
About that.
And go to the Super Bowl. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm excited to watch my Vikings take on the Packers this week, even though it doesn't mean anything. a lot of these games don't mean anything, but real quick before we move on to our sports six-pack, lock of the week, Bradford. Is there a lock of the week for you?
I'm going back to the NFC West because under no circumstance will you see Los Angeles go out at home, the Rams I'm talking about here, against a divisional rival-ish in Arizona, playing out the string. The Rams want to be sharp or sharper entering the playoffs. We know what the last 2 weeks have presented, what they've produced, losses in succession to Seattle as well as Atlanta, inexplicably last night. Matthew Stafford isn't going to throw a trio of interceptions again. Mark my words, Devontae Adams will be back out on the field, if only for a cameo. Puka is going to show his mettle as well, and I still like the twin backs in the backfield there defensively as well. Jacoby Brissett has been a nice story. In that Arizona situation, I think you're seeing Gannon in his final game for that organization on the sideline. Kyler Murray, who really knows?
Right.
But Los Angeles favored by just 7.5. Make it double digits with ease.
I'm going with the Houston Texans over the Indianapolis Colts, a 10.5-point favorite in that one. A lot to play for if you're Houston. So give me the Texans. My biggest upset of the week, I might throw the Lions over the Bears. I might pick them just because the Lions, the way they ended the year, I feel like they are going to want to go out there and really just put a positive spin on what has been a failure of a season for them.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with the Lions in my upset of the week. How about you?
It's a fun matchup. I wouldn't put this one out of the realm of possibility. The Giants, another divisional game, wrapping it up for 2025 in East Rutherford against the Cowboys. I don't know which version of the Cowboys will truly be showing up. Yeah, you do have some things in place as far as trying to actually finish at 8-1, I suppose. But New York, it's such a wild card situation from week to week. If it gets a little out of control, heck, we know the Dallas defense still can't really stop anybody. So if you're talking about a game maybe getting into the 60s, I'll roll with New York. Why not? Divisional game, second time around, for sure.
All right, well, that is Week 18, our Pick'em Challenge. We have one more week against the Rizzuto Show. We need to get our picks in and take this one home with another victory. Hopefully we can get it done and head into 2026 as victors, Bradford. I'm excited to see how this week plays out, and then we'll gear up for the playoffs. It should be a fun ending to what has been a chaotic regular season in the National Football League. All right, we have our Sports Six-Pack coming up next, so get your questions into the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646. We'll answer some questions next right here on 101 ESPN.
We want to hear from you. Use the Scott Lee Mic Drop feature on the 101 mobile app. Give us your opinion on anything St. Louis sports with a mic drop.
Brought to you by the Scott Lee Heating Company.
can now watch 101 ESPN live on our Air Alliance Team Studio Cams. Catch every show live on our YouTube channel or at 101ESPN.com. 101 ESPN Studio Cams.
Presented by the Air Alliance Team Heating and Cooling. Getting the job done quickly, correctly, 100% of the time.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
Blues put a bow on 2025 in Mile High City. Good afternoon. It's Bradford Bruns with your Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. On the heels of last night's 4-2 loss downtown, the Blues now head to the Mile High City. Colorado is the opponent, the final one for 2025. New Year's Eve, the festivities will start with pregame featuring Alex Ferrario, our guest in the 2 p.m. hour of the Fast Lane. That's at 7 p.m. Puck drop at 8 p.m. right here on your home for the note, 101 ESPN. Also on 101 ESPN in exactly 22 minutes, we have pregame for the Music City Bowl featuring the Illinois Fighting Illini going up against SEC School Tennessee. Kickoff at 4:30 later this evening. More bowl action. The magic of the season continues with TCU as well as USC in that Alamo Bowl. This Sports Center update has been brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin heating and air conditioning dealer.
You're in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN.
I have a question.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
Refreshed by Urban Chestnut. Urban Chestnut Swickle Light Premium Light Beer. Live your lifestyle, St. Louis.
It's time for the Sports Six Pack right here in the Fast Lane alongside Bradford Bruns. I'm Andrew Marsh. Get your questions into the Air Comfort Service text line 314-399-9646. We'll answer a few questions before we get out of here because we're off early at 4 o'clock. Music City Bowl. Well, the pregame at 4. Kickoff is at 4:30. Carey's Illinois Illini going up against the Tennessee Volunteers. So if you want to check out that game, tune in. But Bradford, let's get to some questions.
Question number 1.
All right, Marshy, first one from the 636. Guys, of the top 4 seeds in this year's CFP, those teams, of course, in action over the next couple of days, which of the 4 schools is least likely to qualify for next season's CFP?
Ooh, that's
spicy.
A good question. All right, so we have, let's go through it. Indiana.
Number 1.
Ohio State. Mm-hmm. You have Georgia and Texas Tech.
That's right.
I mean, I think it's Texas Tech. Unless Indiana completely falls off a cliff. But what Curt Cignetti has done, you know, if you wanted to ask that question last year, would Indiana make it back to the CFP? You could make the argument and say, well, I've never seen it, you know, so maybe this was just a one-off, especially with how things went against Notre Dame in that first round. But now I'm a believer in the Hoosiers. I think that Curt Cignetti is a great leader, and I see them being around for a while. Texas Tech, great team, but when you put them up against the other 3 teams that we're discussing, I think it has to be them. It's no knock on Texas Tech by any means, but that's just where I fall.
And don't take this the wrong way, but Texas Tech is relatively new when it comes to the big money power players, too. I'm not saying that you essentially sold out for this season and it's a one-off. No, you could well run the Big 12 for all we know over the next decade or so. Mm-hmm. But if you're talking about the established blue bloods, okay, right, in Ohio State, and I'm still riding with the Buckeyes until proven otherwise to repeat, actually, as the national champions. But you certainly know that every single season in Athens, Kirby Smart is going to have his team as a contender, if not a top-tier squad, to win the entire thing. And Curt Cignetti, having done this, as you had stated, Marshy, now 2 years in a row. Granted, I had reservations after the first time around, but you've had an even better season. So the key there is making sure that you continue to ensure the offensive continuity, who's replacing, obviously, Mr. Mendoza at quarterback, but Indiana has a clear path now, a clear pipeline, and Texas Tech is in that position of having to do it all over again. Although I do say, devil's advocate, if you're talking about qualifying coming out of the Big 12 as opposed to the Big 10 or the SEC, your path is a little more advantageous. Really is.
Question number 2.
Question number 2 from the 314. Did you guys see that Torrey Holt is a finalist for the 2026 Pro Football Hall of Fame class? Now, final voting, I believe, still has to be conducted. So Mr. Holt's been in this position. He's been perilously close before. But is this the year that you're finally talking about big game getting the nod?
Man, I sure hope so. I feel like he should be in already. I'm going to speak positivity into this voting process. I'm going to say yes. We'll go with yes. This is the year. Who is he going up against, Bradford? Do you have that on hand?
Let's see. It's a star-studded class. You've got not only Drew Brees, obviously, but I think the guy against whom Torrey's going to be most directly competing. Here's the problem. I still think that Larry Fitzgerald is viewed in so many circles as the superior threat. Now, I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but
it helps being a number one.
Hey, yeah. Compared to some of the other guys, though, in recent seasons, even going back to last year, was Andre Johnson, right? If you put Torrey Holt's body of work and the fact that he was a Super Bowl champ, that he played for another Super Bowl, this remarkable model of consistency, and I just think that for so many of his prime years, the fact that he was working in tandem with Isaac Bruce for the greatest show on turf and catching passes from Kurt Warner, it works against him in a lot of ways, even though they were such complementary, great pieces. The offensive line, everybody worked in concert, but there's no reason that we should be having this conversation in 2025. Yeah, he needs to be in.
He does need to be in. And I hope he does. I hope this is the year for Torrey Holt. He brought so many memories, so many great performances to this city. So we wish him nothing but the best. We hope that he's able to make it. Like that's awesome. I hope he gets in. I have a question.
Number 3.
Fire it off. Yeah, this is from the 314. I do look at the text line, by the way, when I'm not sitting over there. Are the Blues closer to a teardown like the Cardinals or a changeup on the fly? Which one is better for them long term? For me, I don't think the Blues are in the same position as the Cardinals. I do think there needs to be a change, though, whether that's personnel or mindset. I think right now I'm leaning towards a mindset while you have everybody on the current roster. That needs to change for sure. We saw that switch last year towards the end of the season that allowed this team to make the playoffs. We need to see that again sooner rather than later. Otherwise, yeah, there needs to be some reevaluation of this roster. I don't know if they're where the Cardinals are at, though. The Cardinals seem to be just breaking everything down to build it back up, and it's going to take a while. But if the Blues do not get it right, they could be in a hole for quite some time.
There could be a lot more in the way of tweaking than you would have envisioned, certainly entering this season. And one of the biggest reasons, though, Marshy, as to why I'm saying it's not going to be a complete teardown. You're not going to tear it down to the proverbial studs, right? Because, one, you do believe in the young talent, at least, that you have assembled that's going to be here for years to come. And the succession plan now for multiple years has been to equip the next GM in line with really a ready-made cast. Now, it does have to be altered. You do need modifications. But with Alexander Steen taking over next season promptly, it is not going to be this wholesale reversal and abrupt about-face. You obviously have issues. You're well aware of what they are from a personnel standpoint. Let's just say on the blue line, too, your hands are tied to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But you're not going to dramatically retool everything.
No, you can't. And if they do, well, then, man, we're in for a long few years here in St. Louis.
Optimism on the sports
It's already
scene.
been a few long years, and the Blues had a chance to sort of make the midway point of the 2020s feel real nice with their playoff push last year. Obviously, they didn't get it done. We were hoping that they would take what they learned, how they played at the tail end of last season, and continue doing that into this year. It just hasn't happened so far. Hopefully they can change things. They have a tough test against the Avalanche on the 31st, which is tomorrow. We'll have that game for you right here on 101 ESPN. Pregame starts at 7. Puck drop is at 8. Bradford, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but we're up against it. We're about to sign off at 4 o'clock. We have the Music City Bowl, so we're only going to get to 3 questions.
This is what happens from time to time. You know, I listen.
This is why we have 2 parts, by the way. But we have, we don't have enough time today, so we have to just sneak in a couple questions. But we appreciate everyone texting into the Air Comfort Service text line. Of course, this is the last day of the month for us. That means we have a couple parlays for our Bet the Board. We'll go over those along with what we learned in our 3 stars of the day. So that's coming up next right here in the Fast Lane.
Tonight, it's a College Bowl doubleheader. Game 1, the Music City Bowl, Illinois and Tennessee. Game 2, it's the Alamo Bowl, TCU and USC. Coverage begins at 4. The NCAA plays on 101 ESPN.
Elevate your performance with my friends over at Pure Performance. They're your one-stop shop for all aftermarket modifications. I mean, they have an amazing reputation for top quality work, and I can tell you personally that they're the best in the business. I've got a pickup truck. I've had them put on a tonneau cover for me, running boards, tint the windows, lift kit, everything right there in-house. They just do an amazing job. And it's not just accessories. They have a full-service garage, too. So if there's anything wrong with your vehicle while you're getting something done, or if you just want to take it to them in general, they can make sure your vehicle stays safe. And they have any tire that you're looking for, not just off-road tires. Make sure you're safe this holiday season and through the crazy winter with great tires on your car. And all you have to do is get in there to the facility and get them checked out. So please stop by that facility right there off of Cave Springs Boulevard in St. Peters, or visit them at pureperformance.com. That's pure, P-U-R, performance.com.
Ready for action, basketball fans? BetMGM, an authorized gaming partner of the NBA, is giving players another reason to hit the court this season. BetMGM is adding extra excitement to every basket, every slam dunk, and every buzzer-beating shot with special promotions, new features, and more. Log in throughout the season to find odds boost tokens, no sweat tokens, and same-game parlay boost tokens in your account to amplify your winnings. Enjoy enhanced product features like dark mode too. We have lots in store between now and when the new champions are crowned, so log into BetMGM, an authorized gaming partner of the NBA, all throughout the basketball season to see what's new. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Missouri only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards vary and expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly.
former pros and one average Joe. You're listening to The Fast Lane on 101 ESPN.
If you have missed anything from today's show, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free Dobbs Tire and Auto Center's 101 ESPN mobile app. Just head to the podcast page and you will find all of our shows there. And it's all brought to you by the Schaefer Door Company. All right, real quick here. We did not do Bet the Board. We have some plays for you, our parlays, because it is the last day to get those picks in. I'll start with mine, and I'll go over the standings real quick. Jamie has 10 points. Anthony, Carey, and myself have 9. My parlay, Dallas -3.5. Derrick Henry, anytime touchdown. Sam Darnold with an interception. And Bijan Robinson over 81.5 rushing yards. Anthony is going with Tennessee -2.5 on the alt line, those Volunteers. He also has this upcoming game, the Music City Bowl, at the over alt line, over 59.5. TCU +6.5 alt line. USC TCU over 54.5 alt line. Jamie, Islanders money line. Flyers money line. Over first period for the Montreal, Florida game. Over first period in the New Jersey Devils and Toronto Maple Leafs. There's one other person left. They didn't send in their parlay.
Oh, no.
So it stinks for Carey. We'll see what happens. Who knows? But Bradford, what did you learn today?
I learned, Marshy, that, well, unfortunately, our esteemed guest, Alex Ferrario, you as well, my friend, you just absolutely hate the Baltimore Ravens for no apparent reason.
Me?
They don't belong in the stack-up. They don't belong in the top 10, not even on the fringes. It doesn't matter. I tried to be bold. I tried to bring something new to the table in the debut, and it was just scoffed at, really.
I have the Ravens winning on Sunday Night Football, so I have no idea what you're talking about.
Top 10 pedigree.
They're not in the playoffs, so I can't put them in the top 10. They're not in just yet, so we'll see what happens with our final stack-up next week, which, by the way, everyone will be back next week on Monday. So we'll have the rest of the gang back in. We appreciate everyone for tuning in this week. I learned that sometimes days off, multiple days off, kind of throw you off a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, like we had 2 days on last week, 2 days on this week, and now we're off again.
And you have a 2-hour show today.
Yeah, exactly. I just love being here, man. But I also,
likewise, man.
I like taking some time and hanging out with the family and
understood
and doing all that stuff. So before we get out of here, real quick, 3 stars of the day.
Time for the Fast Lane's 3 stars of the day, presented by Circus Sports. No bet fees ever with the world's largest sports book, now at your fingertips in Illinois and Missouri.
Star number 3 of the day on this Tuesday goes to the previously mentioned Alex Ferrario, sticking around and spinning some red-hot Blues takes for an hour or so with us. We appreciate his presence, hanging out additionally on this day. Star number 2 will go to reasons for optimism heading into the new year. Such as the Cardinals, such as the Blues, such as the Missouri Tigers. Need I say more?
Yes.
Okay, I could. But we have to move on to star number 1 on the day. And on this final show, for the final show of 2025, it has to go to everybody out there in the text line, the Snake Pit. Everybody who has made this show what it has been, all of you guys in 2025, those appreciations. Marshy, I know you want to echo those sentiments. Obviously, very much appreciated on the final show. Couldn't do it without anybody out there in the audience.
Well, I love it. We appreciate everyone for tuning in. Everyone have a happy new year, and we will see you.
101 ESPN's Blues Fan of the Week.
Congratulations to Lisa Foster from O'Fallon, Missouri. She is our newest 101 ESPN Blues Fan of the Week.
Submit your pick now at 101ESPN.com to be the next Fan of the Week and take home a pair of tickets to an upcoming Blues game.
Our Blues Fan of the Week is presented by CarStar, your auto body repair experts. Locally owned with nationwide warranty. See us at carstar.com.